Have you ever wondered if the laws that govern our reality, the ones that shape energy and manifestation, were hidden right in front of us all along? What if ancient civilizations, the same ones that left behind sacred texts like the Old Testament, actually knew more about the universal laws of energy, vibration, and manifestation than we give them credit for? The truth is, these ancient laws weren't just about controlling behavior or setting societal rules. They were encoded spiritual teachings. Teachings that, if understood correctly, could unlock your ability to align with the very forces that shape reality. It's time we break free from the surface-level interpretations, dig deeper, and reveal the hidden codes that show us how to keep our vibration high, how to align with the universal frequencies that allow us to manifest the lives we truly desire. In today's video, we're going to dive into the 4 ancient laws that still govern our energy and manifestation today. These are the very laws that our ancestors knew intimately and applied in their spiritual practices, but that we've lost touch with over the years. When we talk about the law of vibration, we're going back to one of the oldest and most fundamental principles of the universe, something that both ancient civilizations and modern science agree on. Everything is energy. And not just energy, but energy that vibrates at different frequencies. This is something our ancestors knew and embedded in their sacred texts. Now, let's get specific. In the Old Testament, we often encounter symbolic language that can be seen as references to this law. When ancient texts speak of heaven and earth, they aren't just talking about physical places, but different states of consciousness and energy levels. Heaven represents the higher, lighter frequencies, while earth symbolizes the lower, denser frequencies. This is where we can start unlocking the hidden codes. What the texts are really telling us is that to manifest something in your life, you have to align with its frequency. This is the missing link in so many modern teachings about manifestation. It's not just about wanting something, it's about becoming the vibrational match for that thing. Whether it's health, wealth, love, or peace, you need to emit the same frequency as what you desire.
How do you do that?
It starts with your thoughts and emotions. Your thoughts send out signals, and your emotions amplify those signals. If you're constantly focused on what you lack, you're vibrating at the frequency of lack. But if you focus on abundance, love, or gratitude, you shift your vibration to match those frequencies. This is why ancient rituals, prayers, and even the laws from Leviticus or Deuteronomy are not just about behavior, they're about how to maintain high-frequency states that align with what you want to create. The encoded wisdom here is simple but profound. You must embody the frequency of what you want before it can show up in your life. The universe responds to what you are, not what you ask for. One of the most fundamental principles the ancients understood was that everything is energy, vibrating at different frequencies. In the modern world, we talk about this concept in science and quantum physics, but ancient civilizations were already ahead of us on this. They knew that every thought, emotion, and intention carried its own vibration. When you understand that, you start to see that your reality is shaped by the vibrations you're emitting. Take a look at the Old Testament laws. Many of them seem harsh or outdated when taken literally, but if you look deeper, they were designed to help people stay in alignment with the universal vibration. These weren't just rules. They were guidelines on how to maintain the frequency of harmony with nature, community, and the divine. In practical terms, this means that to manifest your desires, you need to match the vibration of what you want. If you're stuck in low-frequency emotions like fear, anger, or doubt, you're going to attract more of that into your life. But if you consciously shift your energy to higher vibrations like love, gratitude, and joy, you'll start to align with the reality you want to create. Ancient civilizations understood something that modern science is only starting to grasp. Everything is energy vibrating at different frequencies. The Old Testament, when interpreted beyond its literal meaning, reveals this understanding encoded within its laws. These laws were designed to help people stay in alignment with universal vibration, guidelines for how to live harmoniously with nature, community, and the divine. But here's where the deeper layer kicks in. Thoughts alone aren't enough to magnetize what you desire. Sure, your thoughts set the vibration in motion. They're the seed of the manifestation process. However, it's action that truly brings that energy into the material realm. The combination of intention and action is where the magic happens. You can think about it like this. Thoughts are the blueprint, but action is the builder. To create the life you want, you have to align your thoughts and feelings with your desires, and then take inspired action. The vibration of action is what makes the material world receptive to what you're asking for. So, if you're focused on what you want but you're not acting in alignment with those desires, you're not giving the universe anything to work with. Now, let's get into intention. This is where things get really interesting. Gregg Braden talks a lot about how intention is the driving force behind everything we manifest. It's not just about wishing for something and hoping it'll happen. It's about directing your energy with laser-like focus, because where your focus goes, energy flows. Ancient cultures knew this. Whether it was through prayer, meditation, or rituals, they were using these tools as a way to channel their energy. When you're praying, meditating, or setting intentions, you're not just doing some empty ritual, you're directing energy toward a specific outcome. And the key here is emotion. When you set an intention, you have to feel it deeply.
Why?
Because emotions are energy in motion. They amplify the frequency of your intention, making it more powerful. So, if you're half-heartedly thinking, "Oh, I hope this happens," guess what? That weak intention doesn't have much power. But when you put real emotion behind your intention, you're actually magnetizing the energy and sending out a stronger signal to the universe. It's like turning up the volume on your desires. Here's the thing. Intention isn't passive. You're not just hoping for things to come to you. You're setting the stage for the action that follows, and that intention aligns the energy around you. It creates the conditions for things to start shifting in your favor. Whether it's a new opportunity, a person crossing your path, or a solution to a problem, that intention starts pulling those things into your life. It's like creating a gravitational pull that brings your desires into reality. Another key point about intention is its ability to restructure your environment on a subtle level, even before you see physical results. Think about it like this. The moment you set a clear intention, you're not just influencing your own thoughts and emotions. You're also sending out vibrational signals that interact with the energy fields of everything around you. This is where science, like quantum physics, meets spirituality. According to Gregg Braden and many ancient teachings, intention acts like a blueprint. It starts organizing the energy around you to align with your desired outcome. And this isn't something that happens just in your mind. It extends into the field of possibilities, affecting situations, people, and events. You're aligning your vibration with the reality you want, and the universe starts rearranging itself to match that. Here's where it gets practical. Intention is like planting a seed. But the seed won't grow without the right conditions, meaning you can't just set an intention and sit back. You have to nurture it with action, focus, and emotional energy. The stronger and more consistent your intention, the more synchronistic events you'll notice popping up in your life. These aren't random coincidences. They're the universe responding to your focused energy. So, setting an intention isn't just about saying, "I want this." It's about living in alignment with that intention in everything you do. It's about keeping your thoughts, actions, and emotions all working together toward the same goal. That's when you really start to see your intentions take shape in your physical world. The law of assumption is all about being before you see. Ancient civilizations and spiritual texts, including the Old Testament, are packed with this idea. They knew that what you believe about yourself and the world dictates how your reality unfolds. It's not just wishful thinking. It's about living as if the version of you that has what you want is already here. Here's the deal. Most of us wait for external changes to happen first. We think, once I see the money, then I'll feel wealthy. Once I find my ideal partner, then I'll feel loved. But the law of assumption flips that around. Neville would tell you, you've got to believe it before you see it. Your beliefs and assumptions are like the programs running the show behind the scenes. They shape how you interpret your experiences, which ultimately shapes what experiences come into your life. Ancient texts, especially in the Old Testament, drop some serious hints about this. When you peel back the surface layer and read these stories symbolically, you see that they're teaching us how to align our beliefs with the outcomes we want. Take the story of Moses, for example, leading the Israelites out of Egypt. It's more than just a physical journey. It's a mental and spiritual journey out of limitation and into freedom. Moses had to assume that freedom was already theirs, even when the circumstances didn't show it. That's the power of belief in action. But here's the kicker. It's not enough to just think something. You have to embody it. You've got to walk around, talk, and act as if your desire is already fulfilled. You're not faking it till you make it. You're being it till you see it. Every time you hold yourself in the state of, I already have this, you're sending out a frequency that draws in the people, opportunities, and situations that match that assumption. And yeah, this works whether you're aware of it or not. So the key is to get conscious about what you're assuming. Think of it like a radio station. You can't expect to hear rock music if you're tuned into a jazz station. If you want to experience abundance, love, success, you've got to tune into the frequency of already being that version of yourself. The ancient codes were always teaching this. They just did it through stories, parables, and symbols that pointed to the real power within each of us, our ability to assume the reality we want. When you embody that new belief about yourself, you change the vibration you're putting out, and the universe reorganizes itself around you. This is the real hidden wisdom in those texts, and it's right there, waiting for anyone who's ready to unlock it. All right, let's dive into the law of correspondence, one of those ancient universal laws that really ties everything together. You might have heard the phrase, as above, so below, right? This law basically says that everything in the universe mirrors itself, from the biggest cosmic events to the smallest personal experiences. What's happening in the outer world reflects what's happening inside us. And if we look deeper, the Old Testament, just like a lot of ancient teachings, holds clues to this truth. Now, this law isn't just a cool spiritual saying. It's literally the blueprint of how reality works. What happens on the macrocosm, the universe, the planets, the stars, is reflected in the microcosm, you, your thoughts, your emotions. It's the idea that everything is interconnected, and the patterns we see on a grand scale are the same ones playing out on a personal level. The ancients knew this. They didn't have modern science, but they understood that universal forces are reflected in our everyday lives. In the Old Testament, you see this all over the place. Look at the creation story in Genesis. It's not just a story about how the world was made in 7 days. It's a symbolic map of how we create our personal worlds. God spoke, and things came into existence. That's a reflection of how your thoughts and words create your reality on a smaller scale. It's a universal principle in action. What happens on one level of existence is mirrored on all other levels. So, when we're talking about manifestation, this law is key. What's going on inside of you, your beliefs, thoughts, emotions, corresponds directly to what you see outside in your physical world. If you're feeling stuck, look at your inner world because it's probably a reflection of where you're feeling stuck on the outside too. The law of correspondence says that by shifting your inner world, you can shift your outer reality. This also ties into ancient practices like rituals and prayer. Back in the day, they weren't just random spiritual exercises. They were tools to align the inner and outer worlds. The rituals symbolized how things should align in the cosmos, which would then ripple down into the material world. Everything was connected. The symbols and metaphors in those Old Testament laws and stories were meant to show us how to bring balance to our lives by understanding the correspondence between the spiritual and the physical. What this really means for us today is that if we want to change something in our external world, whether it's more money, better health, or stronger relationships, we've got to first work on the internal shifts. Get your thoughts, emotions, and intentions aligned, and the outer world will correspond to that. The law of correspondence is like a cosmic mirror, always reflecting back what's going on inside you. That's the real message buried in these ancient texts, and when you get that, you'll see how everything you want in life is just a reflection away. So, what does all this mean for us today? When we truly understand these universal laws, vibration, intention, and assumption, we unlock the tools to shape our reality. Ancient civilizations didn't just know this, they lived by it. They understood that aligning with these laws wasn't some mystical concept, it was practical. It was how they manifested abundance, harmony, and connection. In our modern world, we've drifted away from these principles. But the good news is, the wisdom is still there, hidden within ancient texts like the Old Testament, waiting for us to rediscover it. By decoding the symbols and applying these laws, we can reclaim the power to direct our lives consciously instead of living reactively. If you've ever felt like life is just happening to you, or that you're stuck, It's time to recognize that the power to change is already in your hands. You have the ability to create your reality by aligning with the frequencies that match your desires. If there's one thing we can take away from these ancient laws, it's that the power to shape our reality has always been within our reach. Aligning with the laws of vibration, intention, and assumption gives us the tools to live more consciously and create experiences we truly want. This isn't just spiritual theory. Ancient civilizations applied these principles, and they're available to us today. Once we understand and apply them, we stop being passive spectators and become active creators, able to transform our journey with intention and clarity.